On today's episode, I'll be taking you through the basic principles of graphic design. So it's gonna be very easy for you to understand. I made it possible so it can be very, very easy. So while you're watching, remember to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so when I post a new video, you'll be notified. Let's jump right into it. So the first principle we'll be talking about are design principles. So number one of them is the focal point. Now let me explain what a focal point is. It's actually a phenomenon that draws attention to main elements. Just pay attention as I'm explaining. I will also do an illustration with a design shortly after the explanation. Now, the second one of them all is size. Larger elements draw more attention. Your size of maybe your PNG image you're adding to your design or your shape. The more larger it is, the more attention it draws. Now, proximity. Proximity actually means close items together indicates a connection. This proximity has to do with the closeness of your text, closeness of your images, closeness of your logos and all that in a particular design. Now, the fourth one here is color. Color psychology affects mood. I will explain this color psychology properly on the next explanation after this particular one. Now, contrast. High contrast highlights key points. When we talk about contrast, it has to do with your color contrast. Darker background with a white text. There is a way that it makes the audience viewing a particular design feel. So if you now change it vice versa to a white background and a black text, there is also a different impression that it actually gives to the viewer of that particular design. Now the fourth one here, or the sixth one here, sorry, is the rule of text. Align key elements for better emphasis. You see, alignment is very, very important in a design. When you are working on a design, it is important that you work with your grid lines. This will enable you align your text together. This is what you use in aligning your text, your images, and everything you need. So that's for that. Then movement. This movement has to do with the placement of your elements, your images, and your text. Direct visual flows through design. There is a way you arrange your design that when a client or an audience sees them, the first thing they draws their attention is first of all maybe your logo. Now followed by your text. Now followed by maybe some images or symbol around. That's what this movement is all about. The way you place your items or your design that moves the eye of the audience around your flyer. Why alignment, consistent alignment form structured layout. Now this alignment also has to do with your text alignment as well, which is helpful with these grid lines as well. It can help you enable proper alignment for your text properly in a way that an audience or a viewer can be able to be responsive with your flyer. They can be able to relate with what you are passing, with the information you are passing through on your flyer, because the most important thing you have to understand about graphic design is to actually solve a problem or to actually pass a message to an audience, either to a specific audience or to general audience. That's the major role of a graphic designer. That's the use of a flyer design. Now, white space. This white space has to do with the space you give in your design. Spacing improves focus and clarity. Let's take, for instance, you can take a look at this. Let me lock this now. You can take a look at this design here. This is a design. You understand? Now all this space here, these spaces are what is called white space. As you can see, everything is properly arranged. It's the way your eyes can follow through this design here. Your eyes can actually understand the message it's trying to pass. You know where to look at next. You know the first place you have to look at, the second place, the third, the fourth, like that. So white space is important in your designs. Now, typography. This is a very important place you need to pay attention to. Typography in a design is what actually makes up a design. If you get every other thing correct and your typography is not correct, everything will be scattered. Everything will not be, the whole design will not actually pass the information that you are trying to pass, because it is important. Your font and sizes distinguish information. Your font size, your font placement, the kind of font you use determines the outcome of your flyer. Yes, so it is important. Now the next one here, which is the lines, guides viewers' eye through design. Now this line, for example, let me import a design I made. This line is very, very also important, and you need to pay attention to it. Let me import this design now. Now take a look at this design. Let me point out the line in this design. The line in this design is this shape, and there is an image. This is the line. There is a message it's trying to pass. It represents what this business or brand actually is. It represents what this business or brand is into, right? So there is a way it passes an information to the viewer or to the client's audience. So it is important you know those things. Now over to the next one that says golden ratio, proportions to make nicer compositions. Now this is the involvement of whereby you mix one or two elements together to give you something that is quite appealing to the eyesight. That's something that fits a design. Let's take for instance, I want to create. Let me do something right now. Now this is a circle, right? I copy it, then I edit it, I reduce the size, and I change the color. Let me show you what I can achieve right now. Now I click on it, then I merge them together. I merge them, then I come to my erase color here, and I erase the color. I click on this pink. As you can see, I created a perfectly circle shape. People will say you can achieve it with a stroke. Let me show you two different things now. If I reduce the size, it will not budge. Let me show you something. There will be no errors if I should reduce the size or increase the size. There will be no errors around it. It will be perfect. It will be perfectly circled. It will be perfectly circled. Now let me show you another way you can achieve this, but it is not always perfect. On it to your circle, right? Now you use your stroke, you increase it and you change the color and all that. Click on it. But when you begin to adjust it, let me erase color. And you begin to adjust, you see that the stroke that it gave is not is a little bit thinner than this one. It's a little bit thinner than this one that I merged. So this one is perfect for maybe you want a more thicker stroke. Let me call it that way. I use this for design. You can add it here and it will make sense. This is what is called golden ratio, composition of different elements to make nicer compositions. You actually add everything together. So that's for that. Now onto the next one here that says texture. You see this texture, it has to do with something like this. Let me see your shadow. No, let me use a text for instance. I normally use this so much. Now let me show you something. Here is how I create text effect for, let me see, mostly I use this for mostly church designs. Yeah, mostly church design because it comes out perfectly. I love gradient colors. Now here is how I do mine. You see this shadow, you on it, select the color you want of your shadow, the color of the shadow you want. Let me use a more darker blue. Now let's still shift it a bit to 10 so that it can be visible for explanation. Nah, this color is not actually falling. Yes, this is it. So this thing I added at the back can be called texture. Can be called texture. You understand? It's what can actually draw more attention to this particular text. It's what can draw more attention to this particular text, because if this text is at a flyer, is bold, there is something at that back, people want to look like, how is it that way? How is it? How come it's like this? They will want to look at it. So it just draws attention to a flyer. So it's important as well. That's for that. Now, balance. Harmonize element for visual stability. Let me explain this balance of a thing now, because it is quite important in a design. Let's take, for instance, I am using this shape and I'm adding a picture. Okay, that's for that. Then here is a this shape here is what the business is into, their services and what they render. So this is for it, right? Now with that in place, this is an image. Here I will be putting an image of, let me see what the person is into, the business or the kind of thing they are into. Let me see a pedicure or a hairdresser. I'll just add a picture here. Now I will now leave this place empty. This design will not be balanced. It will not be balanced. It will become imbalanced. I don't know how to put it now. To look as if it's one-sided. But if I should copy this shape and maybe place it here, copy it again and place it at the center here, it's gonna be balanced. This is what it's called balancing. It's not one-sided. I can just add everything here. I can just add everything here and maybe leave here empty. The design will not be balanced. Everything has to be in place. There has to be a harmony of items, shapes, elements, and every other thing. So that's for balances. Then this pattern. Let me explain this pattern, this same shape. Now this pattern talks about, now I imported this shape this way and I added the texture of an image here and I copy it. I'm not using something else that is like this here. Then coming here, I'm not using a circle. I'm not using a circle. You can see that it doesn't make sense. It does not fall in place. Now over to the next one that says repetition. Repeated elements creates unity. This also applies to this pattern. This pattern as well. You just look for one element that you repeat to the end of the design. That will actually fall. There is going to be a harmony. It's what they call element harmony. Yes. So that's for that. Then for perspective, depth highlight focal point effectively. Now this perspective, let me look for a design that I did perspective on so you can understand the use of this perspective. There's a perspective tool here on Pixellab as well. There's a perspective tool here. Now where's this design now? I made a design with a perspective tool recently. Where's my Pixellab? My Snapseed. Okay, now this is it. Okay, this was a design I made with perspective tool. So let me explain it with this design now. when you look at this down part here, this winning team, you will see that it's as if it's lying flat on the floor directly. Oh, I have the design here. Why am I not importing it? Let me show you. I have it in my project here now. Okay, this is it. Let me bring in my explanation. Okay, now pay attention. Let me lock this and hide it first of all. Now you can see this winning team. I use my perspective tool to blend it on the floor. It's a text actually, but with this perspective, let me off it so you can see how the text is. This is how it is. But with this perspective tool, I made it flat. So same thing with this one up here that says we are. Same thing with this one up here. That's the work of this perspective. There's a way you adjust the audience attention. Now you can see that when you view this design, first of all, your eyes go to this place that say we are, before you now be looking for the winning team. So I want you to first of all focus up here before you even look down. Now random adds spontaneity to break pattern. Now this random, for example, this random we are talking about is this traffic light I placed here. It's just something that is random, but it's just to make it balance. It's like a green light for these vehicles here to go forward. It's an element I imported. As you can see, it's what I just added. So you see, graphic design, sometimes it doesn't have to be perfect, yes, but at the beginning stage it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't need to chase perfection at the beginning stage. I'm not saying I'm perfect yet. I'm still learning. And one thing about a graphic designer is that you never stop learning, because where your knowledge reaches, that's where another person's knowledge starts from. So with this few explanation, I believe you understand these few basic design principles. There are many more principles actually, but these are the easiest way I can break it down for you. So if you have any question, you can actually drop them in the comments. Now let me just touch one more thing and we are done for today. With these few explanations, put them into practice. In no time, you will become a professional graphic designer. Just like me, I'm the biggest in Nigeria, I'm the biggest in Africa. Ken Creative is the biggest. So do what to hit that like button, subscribe, and share. Alright, see you guys on the next video.